What seems to be overrated until you actually try it. I cannot emphasize this enough. A quality pillow and mattress and sheets. My ex got mad at me when I spent almost $2,000 on my whole bed setup, but then has no problems with $100 bar tabs and $200 dinner nights out. My people, you spend 8 hours a night, 3,000 hours a year on your bed. It should be the most expensive, or just best quality regardless of price, item you purchase for your home. Anything less is just cheating yourself. Tailored clothing. You can have just about any body shape, but when you have it tailored to your actual size you go from looking okay to looking amazing. Drinking water. It's amazing how much better I feel when I consciously choose to drink more water. Actual running shoes. Some shoes are meant for running, man. If you can find a good running shoe shop that does proper gait analysis, it's well worth it. They will have you run on a treadmill with a camera watching your footfall, then they watch it back in slow motion and point out how your foot lands. Then go through a bunch of shoes to find ones that compensate for it. This will make running way better for you and much more comfortable too. I thought to look at the starry sky is boring, but in fact it is very beautiful. When I was a child my dad taught me about the constellations and bird watching. He said if you know the stars and birds you'll never be bored wherever you go. He was right. Getting a good massage. I was almost 30 and had never had one before, and I didn't really care to anyway. But my girlfriend found a deal for a couple's massage on Groupon at some shitty hole in the wall place. So we went. It was a terrible massage and I left feeling worse than when I came in. I thought my apathy towards massages had been confirmed. A while later my back was really hurting, so I decided to maybe give it one more shot at a nicer place. This time it was amazing and so peaceful I almost fell asleep. I walked out the door with no back pain and feeling completely refreshed. I'm glad I gave it a second chance. Sleep. Nutrition. Hydration. Believe me when I say this. It's a cold, dark world until you tune those three together. Edit. Thanks for the bling everyone. I had no idea this would blow up. Thank you. I'll respond if I can. I said this on a whim, but I mean it. Good headphones. You'll hear little nuances in music you've heard hundreds of times before but didn't notice. Hiring movers. I used to pride myself in my moves, but that was just me and my stuff from one bedroom to another. When I got married, we started renting our own apartments and the stuff accumulated over the years. When we moved to Nick we hired my buddy's moving company and it was amazing. When we moved apartments the next year, we hired another company and it was so nice not having to move a single thing up the stairs. We have not moved in 6 years now and I hope we won't have to anytime soon. But we will 100% pay the extra hundreds of dollars to not schlep couches and dressers. 2 monitors for your computer. Once you go to, you'll never go back. Edit. For all those asking, I do 3D art. 2 monitors when unwrapping in 3ds Max is a must. I also work a lot with Photoshop at the same time with Max files. Plus I look at PDFs and other references while working on projects, along with Firefox for YouTube, online references etc. Getting 8+ hours of sleep. Edit. Sure. Everybody needs to find his or her magic hour. Some people need only 6 or 7 hours of sleep. Some people need 8 or 9. It doesn't really matter that much if you are fresh and feel good the morning after. 8 seems to be around the average, so I just use that. Exercise. Free feel good drugs that make you more attractive? Sign me up. Wait. I have to sweat? Duck that. After many years in the military, I learned that some people don't get a dopamine high after cardio. I feel like they've been cheated by the universe. Really good water pressure from a shower head. Also Monster Energy ham. Reddit. Especially once you get past the main big subs and find smaller communities dedicated to your interests and fit your personality more. In discovering which subs I actually enjoy, I have discovered myself. On a scale from 1 to 10, you're an 11. A weighted blanket. Do you have one that you can recommend? I have been looking for a nice heavy one at a decent price lately. But I am ready to invest big time since it's related to health. I can't speak to the quality, but they recently started stocking them at Target, Maxx and Marshalls for way cheaper than I'd ever seen them before. 70ish. Not being piss poor. Now I'm lower middle class and that money makes all the difference in the world for my health and happiness. Who would have thought? Money can't buy happiness should really be money can't guarantee happiness all the time for everyone, because holy shit, can a little money buy a lot of happiness when you have none. Talking to a therapist. It can really help. Important note, before you go in, steel yourself for the very likely probability that the first therapist you go to will not interface with you in an optimal manner. It sucks. And everyone who's been through this knows what I mean. But it always bears repeating that you often have to go through a few before you find the one who works for you. As a millennial, a full-time job and falling asleep early. Was a night owl for years. Depressed for a few. Had a few part-time jobs here and there because I thought that I would hate working full-time. Turns out I like waking up early and really needed the structure in my life. Helped with my depression immensely, and I'm not so sad anymore these days. Sure, I have less time to do other things, but now they actually feel like hobbies. Not like things I use to pass an excessive amount of time. I agree 100%. I started my first full-time job last month and it's so nice having structure in my life. I honestly prefer it a bit over going to university. My school schedule is never consistent day to day, so it's hard to get used to. I love being able to sleep at the same time every night. Finding something you truly enjoy. For me, although I suck, it's 3D modeling. So go out there and try out some hobbies. You never know what you'll like. VR. I looked at it at conferences but never really got into it. After using a headset in a more private environment, I found it amazing. It really is completely different. Yoga and meditation. It's ridiculous how hard it can be to just sit within yourself. But once you've done it and found the quiet, it's hard to stay away. I was gonna say this also. The thing is, you get better at it the more often you do it. And what begins as almost a chore evolves into something you look forward to because you know how great you're gonna feel afterward. Getting skincare that actually works for you instead of whatever is convenient. I had terrible acne for years and I would just use whatever skincare I got my hands on instead of finding something that actually cleared up my skin. Actually spending time improving your relationships with family and friends. The older I get, the more I regret not having spent more time with family and friends. I can imagine. I became much closer and active with my parents, for example, after my daughter was born. Since I have not been that close with my parents for the last 10 years, that's when I understood that they are fantastic people and I've been missing out on a lot of love and warmth. Good quality fruits and vegetables. It may sound overrated, but good. Fresh foods taste amazing. Edit, hey. First gold. Thanks. Hawaii. It seems cliche and overdone, at least in us. But for good reason. I used to wonder why people would fly so long just to go to the beach when FL or CA is so much closer. It's a true cultural experience. Not just beaches and tropical drinks. You sound like me. I never wanted to go. We were trying to find somewhere to go for our honeymoon and a travel agent friend suggested Hawaii. I scoffed and my wife really was into it. I said fine, let's do it. Not sure I'm gonna enjoy it much though. We went for 2 weeks. Hit 3 islands. Oahu, Big Island, Maui, and I have thought about going back every day since, almost 10 years ago. There is just something about it that gets into your soul. Pearl Harbor, Diamond Head, North Shore, Hana Highway, Black Rock, Kilia, Kona. The food is amazing. Maitais are heaven sent and the scenery is always beautiful. Many fancy, expensive restaurants. I've always been frugal. After marriage I've joined my in-laws on several occasions for nice dinners. My taste buds are still in shock at the flavors that exist among foods I've eaten all my life. There is a true art to cooking that can't be replicated without years of education and training. On the other hand, hole-in-the-wall places. Some of the best cheap foods are gonna be served by a lovely grandmother in an alley tenement or a food truck parked in an unused auto body shop parking lot. People always say that you should try the locals' food. And I absolutely agree. If a place seems sketchy, but there's a line at 1 AM, the food is gonna be good. Good mouse for your PC. I've been using random $10 stuff. Around 2008 I got SS Scanner. And this spring I got G403 and holy shit it's so good. If Apex Legends had a good stat tracker I am sure I've jumped quite a lot of steps just from mouse change. Edit, slow fix. Those electric scooters that recently popped up all over cities in USA. I always made fun of the people riding them for being lame until I had to unexpectedly be on the other side of downtown. What would have been a 45-minute walk turned into a 15-minute ride for under $5. Plus it was super fun. Haters gonna hate. The haters aren't hating because they think the scooters are lame. They are hating because of all the people breaking traffic laws, inappropriately discarding them when finished, and generally making streets and sidewalks more dangerous for pedestrians and drivers alike. At least in Denver. The majority of people I see using scooters are not sharing the road appropriately with other modes of transportation. Exercising regularly. Having an actually reasonable sleep schedule. Treating your mental health right. Pretty much just treating yourself well. Reading. High refresh rate monitors. You think you know what smoothness is until you get one of these. Then you look back at 60Hz and wonder how you ever found that smooth in the first place. Saving money while young. Me and my husband were always seen as super boring when we were young because we both individually loved to save money. We still went out but just spent very little. No alcohol. No smoking. No drugs. No makeup. No expensive restaurants. Always find vouchers. etc. But we saved enough to buy a home with a 50% deposit in our 20s. Which means a tiny mortgage. That now means that we can live very comfortably off one average income and still save for whatever we want to do. Trust me. Start saving now. Sushi was one of those things for me. I was very put off by it for so long. Until I actually tried it and realized just how good it could be. Listening to the Beatles. Like, no way this goofy looking group from the 60s who sing about holding hands are actually as good as everyone claims they are. Right? But they are. I usually roll my eyes when I hear this but. Mindfulness and meditation. I just took a really good course at my job for precepting new employees and we had this section on mindfulness and meditation. Cue the eye rolling. But it was so interesting. And I really gained a lot of insight about how to apply principles on both my personal and professional life. To maintain wellness and well-being. A healthy relationship. Cheese pizza. All my life I ordered toppings because why would I want a plain pizza? Meat and stuff only makes it better, right? Well, one day I went to my pizza place for a slice but I could only afford a slice of cheese so I got it and sprinkled some crushed red pepper on it and my goodness. So ducking good. Been my preferred pizza for 8 years now. Before that I thought people were nuts for ordering a plain pizza but I see it now. Putting salt and pepper on a sandwich. Life changing. Trampoline parks. Took my toddler and wife to one for a kids party. We were out doing errands before so we showed up early. I had no intention of doing that childish stuff. It costed close to the same to buy an hour for the family as it did just for one toddler so we said what the heck. Turns out that I haven't had that much fun in a while. And really needed that time with my family. We have been stressed out about buying a house. Switching jobs. Cut and pay etc. etc. But instead of suffering through a toddler birthday party like I expected. My wife, kid, And I had a blast with each other, just jumping and playing, and I felt like a kid again. Not many other parents really did it that much, and we were definitely going at it the most. I felt a little self-conscious being all sweaty and out of breath. But then I looked over at my family having such a good time, and I instantly said duck it again, and we were going at it until they called time on our hour that we bought. And we reluctantly vacated the trampoline area. Putting continuous effort into actually training your dog. At first I kind of just thought we were stuck with this dog that got anxious and barked a lot when we had visitors. I've stopped making excuses and just tried training methods over and over, and I'm seeing slight improvements and something to look forward to. Japanese toilet. Using the toilets will never be the same. Eating bananas. Podcasts. Think of a topic, and someone will have created a podcast for it. I discovered them working an 18-hour shift and now can't work without them. Sweet and salty popcorn. Yes. Both mixed. Had it the first time few years ago, and now it's my favorite popcorn flavor. Give it a try if you haven't done it yet. Watching a movie and cuddling with your SO. Whenever I have a friend over to watch a movie now, I have to stop myself from putting my arm around him because it just feels so natural now. Going to the gym. I've always wanted to go, but I have no idea what to do. Plus it's expensive. Alone time.